Welcome back. We have Ruth Ann Clayton from Nature's Way with us, and we had a segment a few weeks ago, and it was an awesome segment.
We had a tea party.
We did have a tea party, and I learned so much from that. Actually, we had we had a 2 segment, and
yes, we did.
I had no idea that you could know so much about simple tea.
Yeah, we just enjoy it. Maybe you don't have to know all those facts, but sometimes it's fun to know them.
Well, it'd be nice to go back in time and live simply. But and I guess some of the products we're going to talk about today are
it's not simple
so
life
complicated.
Anymore, is it?
We're going to talk about skincare and how to take care of your skin, and some of the products that you brought with us. We've got one side that's probably not as good as some of the natural.
We have some labels we're going to look at, one good, one not so good. That's why you have the magnifying glass. We'll get to those in a minute after we talk about what some of those words mean.
Now, half of this is what you offer, and half of it's what you found in other retail outlets?
On each set of that, there's one that we offer that we'll see the difference in the labels after we set a little groundwork here. But it's interesting, you talk about the history, and not so far back, but right after World War II into the 1950s, all of a sudden there was all of this warfare that was left over, these chemicals that had been produced. So we decided we could live better with a lot of chemicals.
Really?
Living better through chemistry.
That's exactly right. So about 75,000 chemicals later, they're in our lives, they're in our world, they're in our food. Especially they're in a lot of the things that we put on our skin.
Yeah.
So,
and the skin is an amazing organ. It not only absorbs, but it cools you. It expels.
Right. You said it. It's the largest organ. It is actually a barrier to a lot of things, but it's not a barrier to everything. We put things on, and I'm talking as much about Sandy, you wash your face in the morning. That rinses off. Okay, there's a little bit of exposure, but think about the things that you put on your skin, especially in the facial care, that stay. And then you maybe reapply them later in the day. So we're talking about that continual cumulative absorption that you're getting from those products. And now not everything is bad, but there are some things out there that really should not be in our products, and we need to become aware of it and see what we can do to protect ourselves.
What are some of the worst words we should avoid? Because you're a dietitian, and we've heard for years that if it has like monohydrogenated oils, put it back on the shelf.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what are the words in skincare?
All right, I'm going to pull my little cheat sheet out here because even with me it's hard to come up with these all the time. Now, I mentioned while we were chatting a second ago that I went to a local box store the other day, and I walked up and down the aisles, and if anyone had seen me, they would have thought I was some crazy lady talking to myself, because I was going, oh my God, look what's I didn't even have my magnifying glass with me, and it was like, which one do I pick? Because there were so many things. But in the facial care, I came up with some that we'll go through in a minute, but there's 5 major ones that, now honestly guys, these books here, this one right here is a cosmetic dictionary. Look how many words are in this. So there's no way we can touch on all of them. But some of the ones that are getting the most press and that people are being concerned about now, there's 5 of them. And just to set the stage, in the European Union, they're not allowed. But guess what? In our country, they're allowed.
Okay.
We probably have one of the most lax bureaucratic areas as far as like controlling what goes into our cosmetics. Even before we were all born, 1938, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, we probably all studied about it in school when it came about. Cosmetics are in there, but they're like about 1 page of it. There's really very little oversight as far as what goes in our cosmetic. There does not even have to be pre-market approval. Somebody wants to make something, they put it together and they put it out there.
And they can make a lot of claims too, probably.
They can make all sorts of claims that they do not have to. Even in supplements, the claims, there's really regulated, and you'll get into a lot of trouble if you use the wrong ones. But the FDA does not have a lot of power when it comes to what's in our... We tend to think if it's for sale, it's safe.
Right. The government's approved it.
That somebody has taken care of us. We go around and we're very careful about what we eat. I know you are, especially Sandy. You're going to eat organic. You're talking about no trans fats, etc. But we don't seem to be as concerned about what we're putting on top of our bodies as we are, as to what we're putting in them. We're careful about what we eat, but we don't even take a second thought or even look at a label when we buy a facial skincare product. You ask about the words?
Yeah, I want the words.
Okay.
I'm going to go home and go, whoops.
Okay. Phthalates. Now, that is spelled with a PH, so you're not don't go looking for TH. It's phthalates. It is plastic, basically. It's a plasticizer. You'll see some things like DBP, DEP on a label, and sometimes you'll just see the word phthalates. Those actually are in a lot of fragrances and lotions. They sort of make it thicker, you know. Phthalates. The problem with them is they are hormone disruptors.
Oh.
So think about every day you put a little something onto your skin. Okay, don't think you got that much of it, but we're talking about day after day after day and all these different chemicals. It's said that women use about 12 products a day, exposed to about 168 chemicals.
Well, think about body lotion. I mean, it's all over.
And you reapply it, don't you? If you take a couple of showers on a hot day like this, you know.
So phthalates,
okay.
With a pH.
And they build up in our fatty tissues.
Okay.
So you have a place that you store them in your body.
All right.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, what else?
Petrochemicals. Now, petrochemicals is like a group of them.
Now, I have a question. Does that mean petroleum?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I read that in one of Dr. Oz's books. He said never put, he said he can't believe people put Vaseline petroleum jelly on their lips. He said you should never put anything with petroleum anywhere.
When there are so many natural, wonderful things that God gave us out there, and we've manufactured all these chemical products. Exactly. Petrolatum, which is found in a lot of lip balms. Mineral oil. Mineral oil is not soothing to your skin. It has that same problem with being a hormone disruptor. Some of these are even considered to be carcinogens.
Really?
Yes.
See, I would have been one of those that would, I'm going to use mineral oil. It's so
And what these oil type petrochemical things do is they suffocate the skin. They're not really actually helping the dermis or the epidermis. You feel good with them on. When you first apply them, they feel good, but they actually are more drying in the long run.
Okay.
Another one, parabens. And I'm sure you've seen that on a label. We, in Nature's Way, have taken them out of all of our products that we can find. And if one slips through the door, then it's out the door as soon as we figure it out. Wonderful thing about the natural industry is they're taking the lead in this and reformulating a lot of products. Not to say that there weren't so-called natural products before that had parabens in them, but we're seeing a lot. I like to use the term cleaner products coming into the marketplace.
And there's a larger variety, because I've been a health food store person for a long time, and used to, there was this tiny little, and there were a few little, and now it's just growing as far, there's hair care products and lotions and makeup.
Exactly.
And anything you could buy, you can also get in.
So when you see the word parabens, you may see something like methyl, butyl, propyl, all in front of the word paraben, propyl paraben, methyl parabens, but this is all the same group of things.
Okay.
Once again, they're going to be endocrine disruptors, and they're going to disrupt what's happening in your body on a normal basis. So when you build them up, just think about what's happening, and think about this toxic world we live in already. There's an increase in cancer, there's an increase in so many diseases. So you're talking about trying to protect yourself from toxicity that you're actually rubbing on your skin. So another one is, this word doesn't sound good, formaldehyde.
Yeah, that's,
there are actually products, and one of the main words you'll see is urea, UREAS, and you may see something else onto the end of it. When you see those, they have the capability of producing formaldehyde in the product that you're using. Sandy's eyes are getting so big over there.
Whoa.
They actually use them as preservatives because what happens, a company wants their product to stay on the shelf for a long time. Now, a natural one may have a shorter life, but actually, if you take it home, you need to use it up anyway. If you keep it for a year or whatever, that's going to be too long anyway.
Because things can grow.
And another one is lead acetate. Lead and lead acetate has been found in some tests that they did, in about 60% of the lipsticks.
Well, now I
had
was
lead in them.
Looking at a cosmetic counter not too long ago, and in the sale, I asked that, and she said, we start with all natural products. I thought, well, that's a way to get around it.
We love that word, don't we? That natural word.
Start with all kinds of things and then go off on that. But that's what she said. Oh, we start with all natural products. I thought, I didn't want to ask you.
And then we add the chemicals later.
And there's some other things you throw out there. There's the colors, the FDC colors that are in lots of things. Fragrances. Fragrances is a catch-all for about 1,000 different compounds. As far as this lax law that we have, fragrances can be made up, especially synthetic ones, of thousands of different ingredients. Now, they don't ask them to put all of those hundreds of thousands of them on a label. They allow them just to put the word fragrance. So you actually don't know what's in it unless you know the company and you can trust them and have asked and seen their literature. And that's where you come in. Exactly.
Yeah, you research everything that goes through your store.
We certainly do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, what are some of these?
Okay.
Well, these are the scariest stuff. Let's talk about the scary
These
stuff
are
for a
good
minute.
and scary.
Okay.
Like this is scary.
Now you will see that I did put some different labels on those to protect the innocence.
Yeah,
okay.
This is when I did my shopping trip the other day and was just appalled. I knew what was out there,
And
but
what
it
is
was
this?
just incredible.
Skin cream?
Okay,
It's a
that's
cleanser.
a cleanser. Okay, you want to pick up?
I want to see
No,
what it is.
no, no,
Every
no.
woman out there knows what kind this
we
is
want to keep
anyway.
this legal here.
Okay.
Sandy,
Mineral oil, fragrance, methylparaben, and diazoledenyl urea.
Urea, exactly.
Plus, you have given me this.
And there's others in there, but since we talked about these top 5, I just...
Is there anything about the number of ingredients that should scare someone?
No.
No. So the number of
actually, the
ingredients-
largest portion of what's
Has to
in
be
it is in the
first, right?
about the first
Yeah.
3 ingredients. You'll get about 90%
Water
of what's
would
there.
be usually the
but
first one.
actually,
Okay.
if
Water,
something is
mineral
way
oil.
down in number 20, I'm not sure I still want to put it on my
Yeah.
body because
Yeah.
we're talking about accumulation day after day.
So a cleanser, I don't use a cleanser. I guess it's after you clean yourself, then you clean your
If you
skin
use
before.
soaps, you might want to read those labels.
Yeah.
And, Pick up the other one, Sandy. That's one
Yeah,
that we
pick up
carry
that
at
one.
Nature's
Okay,
Way.
now
This one's good.
Says coconut fatty acid cream base, natural grain alcohol, soy protein, C herbal complex, citrus seed extract, vitamins A, C, and E, Castile soap, rose hip seed oil, horse chestnut extract,
Herbs.
inositol. What is that?
Inositol. It's a bee-like
Inositol.
vitamin.
And another
Linoleic acid.
I'm really going to get. And calcium pantothenate.
That's
something
vitamin
like that.
B5.
And biotin. My sister, one time, my younger sister, a friend of hers is actually a chemist, and they went to one of those like girly shows at Dillard's and got the most expensive face cream that Dillard sells. You might figure out what that is, and gave it to her girlfriend who's the chemist, and she said, it's vitamin A with a bunch of stabilizers.
Exactly.
She said, go to the health food store, get you some vitamin A.
So if you note the difference when you read that,
yeah.
I'm not sure if it's open or not.
That's
Dan.
okay.
Well,
That's
that's
all
okay.
right.
You can.
He's going to test it.
I just wanted to.
Okay,
I wanted to see
you
what there
open
was
it,
no.
that's fine.
There was no fragrance in it. And I
No,
didn't
there's
know.
not.
Okay.
And a lot of people are sensitive to fragrances.
Oh, yeah.
And especially those where you get those synthetic fragrances, you don't know exactly what that's made up of. Want to pick another one, Sandy?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, I do. I want to pick the makeup.
Okay.
Because I mean, there are plenty of women who don't wear makeup. I'm not going to
Exactly.
talk there about it. But there is no telling what's in this stuff.
And interesting enough, and I found this when I went shopping the other day, trying to peel up the labels and look at some of the ingredients, and they
Yeah.
are so tiny. I didn't have my magnifying glass with me. We actually have magnifying glasses hanging all over our store, even for supplement labels.
They're
Yeah,
tiny
okay.
for a
You
reason.
can't read them, can you? So that's why I gave you the cheat sheet there, Cindy.
Wow, all kind. What are the nasty stuff again? You try and pronounce them. I see parabens again.
The first one on the left-hand side, Dan.
The left hand
Yeah,
side,
this is
mineral
the bad
fragrance,
stuff.
sodium,
Lauryl sulfate.
sulfate.
That's a petrochemical.
propyl
And-
methylparabens.
And methylparabens. So there's 2 types of parabens in it. There's SLS, which we've taken out of most of our shampoos and things. SLS is a petrochemical that's just used to make lather. Well, you don't necessarily have to have lather to make your shampoo work.
Yeah, and a lot of the natural shampoos and stuff I try, they will tell you. You know, we don't lather up, so don't get freaked out. And
Yeah.
like the stuff I use on my face, it doesn't.
And
Now,
that's another Aubrey product there, which is totally pure.
This is foundation, a translucent
Yes.
base. So, what about mineral makeups that are so popular right now? Are they necessarily better?
You're going to need to read the letter. No,
So
because
they're not
they could
necessarily
have,
better.
when you're talking minerals, you could talk lead, arsenic, you could talk all sorts of things in there.
Oh, okay.
That one is a silk base, and it
Okay.
basically has silk powder, tapioca, lysine, which is basically an amino acid. It has cinnamon bark powder for the color, has vitamin E for the preservative. See, in nature, there are many, many things that can be used to make these products without inventing chemicals.
So Aubrey is this is a brand you can trust.
Yes,
there are
absolutely.
certain brands that we should. And was it Avalon? What's that other one?
Avalon is a great one.
A great one. And Kiss
we
My
show
Face.
some of them here.
I love
Kiss
that.
My Face is. I
They
like
have
to say a lot
deodorants
of the
and
lines
toothpastes
are
and
cleaning
stuff.
up their act because not necessarily just you and I talked earlier because it says natural. I believe it was in the 1998 or so, California tried to make regulations for what the word natural meant. It was shot down in court. So you cannot trust natural. You cannot trust the word natural. So you need to protect yourself. Read the labels. We're constantly studying them. But I also want to make a point that when you read a word, it does not always mean it's bad because it's hard to pronounce. There are chemical names for things in nature. Dihydrogen monoxide. Sound rough?
And what is
water.
it? It's water.
Yep, I know. That's, I can't say it even, see? But so you might see that on the label and go, what is that? Not necessarily. So you need to study and read. We have, these are 4 different references here that we use. Whole Foods came out this year with 200 ingredients that they termed should not be in health and beauty products. We actually use that as one of our resources too.
Now, Whole Foods, the chain,
yes, excuse me, yes,
the
it's
grocery
chain.
store chain, and so they've got websites, and they even have iPhone apps. Because I have a Whole Food iPhone app.
So things are changing even in our industry because people are asking for it. There's a group on the computer known as Environmental Working Group, and they're leading a lot of this and trying to change and make sure all things are clean. What about that one? That's Badger.
Yeah, this is good because this is the one that's got petroleum jelly in it.
What is
Never
that?
put
Lip balm
petroleum
or
on
what is that?
anything. Yeah, lip balm's
balm,
got
okay.
olive oil, cocoa, beeswax, peppermint, spearmint, sweet orange, aloe extract, rosemary, rose hips,
But the-
sea buckthorn, and berry. And you can buy just oils because you can at the health food store. You can
we
get
have just plain oils
vitamin
that can
E
be
oil,
used.
vitamin A oil.
Sometimes the simpler the better. But you notice when you read those, Sandy, there was not one chemical name in there.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
and
I
then-
know there's a word here, oxybenzone. It's
glad you brought that one up. Sunscreen.
Is that good or bad?
Absolutely not so good.
Not so good.
good.
Oxybenzone is something that is put into, it's a hormone disruptor. It's
Okay.
in almost all of your sunscreens. I went to another store
Okay.
the other
Oh, I
day
need
and
to
looked
write
and was
that
just going,
word down.
Oxybenzone.
and it's in there as a
Oxybenzone.
sunscreen in that
Is there
lip balm.
any good chemical that will block sun rays?
Yes,
harmful
we
sun
have
rays?
at least 3 of them in our store, and they're using herbal products. Now, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are fine, but you do not want to breathe them in. There's a new spray out in the sunscreens that have something called nanoparticles. We all know what a nano is. I mean,
Yeah.
I think a hair is like 80,000 nano units. So when you do this, when you spray that, and you're spraying zinc, and you're spraying titanium dioxide, that's not good because you breathe them
Breathe it in, okay.
You get them into your organs
Yeah.
where they're meant to stay on your skin.
You know, I
So-
hate to do this. We've got about a minute left.
Okay.
This went so quickly. Is there
No.
anything here that we want to discuss real quickly?
What I want to tell you is that Nature's Way spends a lot of time looking for the right kind of products, and we're sort of just looking at the facial care now. We study them, we've gotten things in, and we've turned them back because we don't like the ingredients in them. So, but I encourage everyone to be diligent, read their labels,
Yeah.
start studying. And I just brought an example. These are 4 different lines that we carry. All of them would be considered clean. That's the word I like, is clean.
So you've got everything from lotions to cleansers to makeup.
Makeup, absolutely. I use this My Shell line for cleansing. That's Honeybee Gardens. They have makeup, they have eyeshadow, they have mascara, they have eye pencils. So we have a whole gamut, and our employees study very hard this. We've in-serviced a great deal on it, and we're learning constantly, but we can help you.
Is there anything you can put on your skin? Like some people are sensitive just to go out in the normal everyday. They're affected by carbon monoxide or whatever. Is there anything that they should put on their skin? Or
Something to block carbon monoxide, I don't
or
think
not
so.
not so much that, but
But
just
the sun-
everyday chemicals that are in the atmosphere and
I don't really believe
man-made
so
things,
because
okay.
we're using sunscreens, and we have at least 3 different natural sunscreens that are clean. Those will block you from the type of UVA
harmful
and
rays,
UVB rays, but I have not seen anything yet that's going to protect you from the other toxins in our environment.
okay. And that would probably be someone that's really susceptible to.
Oh, absolutely.
And they probably
who
have a-
knows what brought them to that point?
Yeah.
Could it be
Could have been the
their
chemicals.
their exposure to all the
Resistance to that, yeah.
toxins in food, air, and on our skin?
But there are some websites people can visit that
Absolutely.
list some of the no-no words. So now, just like, stay away from trans fats and all these kind of other kind, we can stay away from these
Absolutely,
also.
and realize I have 4 references here. Not any one of them is going to have exactly the same information. They tend to disagree. It is a wide open field that thankfully is changing, and we're going to have a lot cleaner products.
And do your
out
own
there.
research.
Do your own research.
Nature's Way is located on the west side of the square, is that right?
South side of the square.
South side of the
South
square.
side of the square,
Okay.
18 East 7th Street.
Jack's on the square.
Yeah, and
All
we
right.
have a Facebook page. We have a website, www.natureswaymountainhome.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
we are
Okay.
completely out of time. It's,
Wow.
as always, it's
Groovy
been
stuff.
very informative, great information, and we'll ask you to come back.
Okay,
Well,
anytime.
Pick
Love
another
it.
subject
Okay,
and come
there's
back.
a lot of them, Dan.
Oh,
I know
wow.
there
This
is.
is
Ruth Ann
great.
Clayton, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Enjoyed both of you.
And we'd like to thank all the people who've been on the show. Don't have time to mention them all, but they know who they are. And thank you so much for being a host of mine again?
Again,
can
once
I be
a week.
your host?
You be my co-host, Daniel.
Okay.
Okay, you be my
Love it.
co-host.
All right. Thanks again, and we'll see you again next time.
See you next week.